Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It is time now for Aging in Style. We're here with Vitale Wealth Management. We got the president and owner, Joe Vitale. Joe, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good morning, Blake. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right, so don't forget to get Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals, for the latest in market trends, financial news. You can do it by scanning the QR code you see on your screen for access. Today's topic might be very helpful for some of us. Financial planning for the holidays. Yeah. All right, Joe. So first up, many people giving out money, Christmas gifts. Those are the best. Yes. What would you say is the right amount, and are there concerns with gifting money?
Well, you know, a lot of it comes back to as you get older. A lot of our senior clients, they say, well, I'm just going to start gifting more of our money away. We're going to gift money away because we need to start getting rid of it. And that's okay, you know, and a lot of times part of it is like, well, as far as budget is concerned, you don't want to go overboard, right? And really put yourself in a hole. But as you get older, what if you're in your 80s or what have you, and then you start giving these large gifts, and heaven forbid a nursing home event happens. That's why it's so relevant, because even though the government allows you to gift $18,000 per person per year, if a nursing home event happened, Medicaid says, oh, that's great, but we want that money back or you're disqualified. You're penalized for that gift. So always keep that top of mind, that when it comes to gifting, never go over that amount. You know, if you do, you got to make sure you might have to get that money back. Okay. So if that's ever a concern. So that's one of the things why we always kind of keep that top of mind.
All right, good stuff to know. All right, people may be obviously visiting our older loved ones for the holidays. What would you say are signs that we need to look out for that maybe they need help?
Well, you know, as our parents are getting older, like my parents are now in their 70s and 80s, and they're like, oh, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Then you go to visit, and it's not fine.
Right.
Right? The house, I mean, they do need help, and it's like now, and unfortunately, a lot of the kids today are out of the state, out of the country, and then they only see them once or twice a year, and it's like, wow, mom and dad have really gone downhill a little bit. So that's the time we got to look to see how are they doing, how's the house look, are they eating? Because a lot of times they say they're doing well and they're not, and we now got to step in at this point.
Okay. And veterans don't want to forget either benefits they're eligible for, and how can those benefits help them assist maybe with care?
Well, you know, we've done, over the last 20 years, we've done so many benefits for our wartime veterans called the aid and attendance benefit. Okay. Now, about 6 years ago, the VA changed that, and we're no longer able to help with that. However, there's go to the county. So you go to Bay County, Saginaw County VA, Midland County VA. As long as you go, every county has a veteran service officer there. So if you're a wartime veteran or a spouse of a wartime veteran, like Vietnam, Korea, there's not a whole lot of World War II veterans left out there today, unfortunately, but a lot of the spouses are there, and as long as you were a spouse of a World War II or Korea or Vietnam veteran, and or the veteran and in need of care, there's money from the VA for that. Okay. But there's asset limits, there's income limits, and you have to get care on a daily basis. So if they were getting home care, having care come in, or go to assisted living, now there's, you know, $1,500 to $3,000 tax-free income available. But you have to qualify for it. So I would encourage them to go ahead, call the county, you know, get the county service officer there, look for the aid and attendance benefit, because it's a godsend. It's a beautiful help.
Good, yeah. And now for holiday gifts, of course, traveling is big around this time of year too. You have tips to stay on budget. An envelope system.
The envelope system. Well, if you know, we're a Dave Ramsey SmartVester, so everybody's like, well, what is a Dave Ramsey all about in the envelope system? Well, this is kind of relevant too, because people get into debt big time right now. Yeah. And the envelope system is basically when you go shopping, you have this much in your envelope and that's all you spend. So here's your groceries, here's your gifting, here's your utilities. And the envelope system says, okay, I'm going to go to the store, I'm not going to spend over this amount, because, you know, we all do emotional spending. And it's so easy with that credit card to just like, oh, we'll pay it off later, we'll pay it off later. Well, a surefire way not to pay it off later, and if you realize today, most people don't realize the consumers have the highest debt they've ever had. So remember, we went from COVID, where we had all this free money coming in, and a lot of people got used to that spending, and that went away, and now guess what? Oh, the credit card, the credit card. So if we really want to start off 2025 in the right way, we don't want to be burdened with all this debt carried forward. So a good way to start with that is to, you know, use the envelope system. Have a little bit, you know, we're going to spend this much for each person in the gift. We're going to put it in the envelope. We're not going to spend over this amount. It's going to feel, and it's not that constrictive,
Yeah.
but it's going to feel a lot better come January 1.
Is there like a certain threshold on how much to put in that envelope, or it depends on who it is?
It depends. Well, we actually, it's funny, in our family, we say, okay, no more than $35 a person, right? and it's like, well, that's not much, you know. But it's when you have a large family and everything, it's sometimes homemade gifts. It's what counts, you know. It's not about all the gifts, you know.
Right.
But I know for my kids, it's a little bit different. It's like 35 is nothing. You're going to spend a lot more than that. But then you try to find different things. Like one of my kids with my grandkids, we're going to do an experience where they want to go to Florida. So I have it. It's like, okay, this is their gift. We're going to take them, and I'm going to help out. It's going to be a nice time.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is try not to go overboard, and it's not just don't go crazy. Try to be reasonable what you're going to do.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you have any strategies for end of year planning?
Yeah, end of year planning. Well, I know we don't have a whole lot of time left, but you know, looking at Roth conversions, a lot of people don't, you know, it's like, well, why do I want to have more income with a Roth conversion? Number one, if you haven't put into your 401 or your IRA for this year, you still have until April to do that, okay? But Roth conversions, it has to be done at the end of the year. So why is that possible? Why would you do that? Well, if you look ahead and you look at how much the IRA value is, your required minimum distributions are going to be quite a bit. So if we could start doing Roth conversions before the end of the year, that's going to help your tax burden down the road into more tax-free money. Another thing is we talk about QCDs, qualified charitable distributions. A lot of seniors maybe haven't taken their required minimum distribution yet, and they're going to hit with a 50% penalty if they don't do that.
Wow,
it's huge.
That's huge.
So make sure you do your required minimum distributions. But if some people, believe it or not, they don't need the money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to pay tax on it. I don't need it. You can send it to charity and pay no tax on it.
Okay.
And it's a win-win. So absolutely, at the end of the year, get it done beforehand. It will help you, if need be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you bringing these in, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely, my pleasure.
It's a nice little guide for now. And before we go, don't forget to get market updates and more through Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. If you want more information, too, on today's topic, make sure you go to the Aging in Style page under Features on WNEM.com.